was another wild ride this week on the rock and roller coaster that is the Pearl Jam Tour. Last Saturday in San Francisco, Eddie Vedder, who'd been hospitalized earlier for a stomach virus, left the stage after 7 songs, unable to continue. On Sunday, Pearl Jam suddenly canceled the remaining 10 shows of its 15-date 12-city tour because of, quote, continued controversies associated with attempting to schedule and perform at alternate venues. In other words, the difficulty of finding arenas which are not in business with Ticketmaster has become more trouble than it's worth. Fans flooded us with angry email, but then on Tuesday, the band announced it would play its final 3 dates after all at Milwaukee's Summerfest next Thursday and Friday and Chicago's Soldier Field next Saturday. The other dates will be fully refunded, as will the aborted San Francisco show, by sending a ticket stub and/or postcard with your name, address, and phone number to the address on screen. The Milwaukee tickets, ironically, were sold by Ticketmaster through its Summerfest contract. Almost a year after picking its fight with Ticketmaster, Pearl Jam remains alone among major rock bands who could have joined the Seattle group in its boycott, but never did. Here's a look back at how the band got into this whole mess.
On April 17, 1994, Pearl Jam played what turned out to be its last performance before announcing it was canceling its summer tour with Ticketmaster. Pearl Jam said it would wait to tour until it could find a way to keep its ticket prices at around $18 and its service charges to 10% of that, as opposed to Ticketmaster's fees of about $6 a ticket. In May, Pearl Jam filed a complaint with the U.S. Justice Department, charging that Ticketmaster had threatened to file lawsuits with promoters if Pearl Jam conducted a price-conscious tour. On June 8th, the Los Angeles Times reported that the Justice Department had subpoenaed the records of Ticketmaster, and 3 weeks later, California Congressman Gary Condit called Pearl Jam to testify before a House of Representatives subcommittee investigating antitrust charges against Ticketmaster.
It is today almost impossible for a band to do a tour of large arenas in major cities and not deal with Ticketmaster. The reason that bands like Pearl Jam have to deal with Ticketmaster is because Ticketmaster has exclusive contracts with most major venues and almost all significant concert promoters in the United States.
On July 30th, Pearl Jam filed a memo to the Justice Department saying Ticketmaster had made, quote, potentially misleading statements in its testimony. Finally, on October 4th, the band joined Neil Young and Crazy Horse on stage at the Bridge Benefit in San Francisco, debuting new drummer Jack Irons, who replaced Dave Abruzzi, who left the band in August. Pearl Jam's new album, Vitalogy, was released on November 22nd with no Justice Department decision in sight. Around this time, Michael Stipe told MTV News that REM supported Pearl Jam's crusade.
We had not really thought about it because we haven't been on tour in over 5 years, and ticket prices we're not, really at the top of our list of things to be concerned about. Right. So when it was brought to our attention, we thought, well, yeah, monopoly is not a good thing anywhere, and this is something that should be kind of halted. It seems very criminal.
On January 12th, Pearl Jam joined Neil Young on stage at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and on January 14th and 15th, Pearl Jam played 2 pro-choice benefit concerts with Young and Crazy Horse in Washington, D.C. On the day of the 14th, Eddie Vedder spoke at a pro-choice press conference in D.C. and for a moment made light of the Ticketmaster situation.
There was this thing called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame dinner the other night. They inducted Neil Young, and Neil invited us, and somebody put our table, out of 150 tables there, put our table right next to the Ticketmaster table.
We doubt anyone in Pearl Jam is laughing these days. Consider that prior to this week's back and forth, the band had to reschedule the opening date of its tour and its shows in Vedder's San Diego hometown. Then put out a press release 2 weeks ago indicating it might have to work with Ticketmaster after all. Then took exception to the media reporting that statement, with Vedder phoning a San Diego radio station to say that if Pearl Jam had to tour with Ticketmaster, well, they would just make records instead. In the end, it's the fans, those whom the band are trying to protect, who really lose.